49 miles away, Hendrix POV. I swear. Triz, Sandra. If you give me plus for one more time, I will slap you in the face. Stacy warns, eyeing the girl beside her with fury and a stare of deadly determination. Triz and returns up the corners of her lips, running her eyes over her, a no cards mischievously. As soon as she puts down her card, everyone bursts into laughter. Another +4. Stacy stands, lifting a hand and tries to hit her, but Savannah catches her wrist, glaring at her. I wouldn't recommend that, she murmurs, raising her eyebrows. Stacy realizes it's a bad idea, and immediately backs down. She sits in her chair, completely defeated as she grabs for fresh no cards from the deck. 𝐿𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐊𝐢𝐳, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing enthusiasm. It would be suicidal if Stacy hit Tressa. If our YK comes to pick her up and finds a single bruise, he'll freak out. Stacy would definitely be in trouble. Yeah. None of us want to see Reeve fight off our YK when he tries to kill you. 𝐾𝐞 muses through fits of laughter. My side is starting to cramp from how much we've been laughing. 𝐿𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸 heartfelt thanks for your unfailing enthusiasm. The non-pregnant people get to drink alcohol, while Trez, Sandra, and I miss out. Not that I really mind all that much. I find I lose control when it touches my lips. We've been playing a no for literal hours. Just us girls. 𝐾𝐞𝐬, Miranda, Trez, Sandra, and even Savannah, oddly enough. She makes the excuse that she's merely keeping an eye on me like she promised Cedric she would. But I have my sneaking suspicions. She wants to play. And I know it. Savannah is very competitive. She's already won 3 rounds. And Stacy is a sore loser. In never going to win. We should team up to take down the damn beta. She's kicking our asses with her eyes closed. Stacy complains, throwing a hand dramatically over her face. A face that's decorated with hearts drawn out of pink eyeliner. Savannah replies by growing an evil smile. The round continues with more craziness, and I find myself starting to relax just a little bit. With Cedric gone, I get antsy and on edge. I don't feel very safe or secure. He assured me he would be back as soon as he could. It worries me what this all could mean for us. Apparently, it's completely unheard of to just kill humans and take their babies. And it's the same with the fact that humans can make like babies. 𝐿𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸 heartfelt thanks for your unfailing enthusiasm. Like unpups. I've been corrected a time or two by Savannah. What if I have to be a witness at some trial? Or what if Cedric goes to the guard and they agree with what Jameson was hired to do? Will they come to get me? I bite my nails at the thought. The mere idea stressing me out without my mate here to comfort me. He always knows just how to calm me down. After a few more circles around the table, taking our turns with placing our cards, Savannah ultimately yet again. When she puts down her last card, Stacy drowns her sorrows in cookies and more beer. I almost feel bad for being amused. Defeated again. I should bring risk next time I come over. Then we'll see who's laughing. Stacy insists. And Savannah just smirks, leaning back in her chair. I'm pretty good at that one too. Let's just say, I have an affinity for board games. Last time I checked, a no doesn't involve a board. I joke, taking a bite of my cookie, and everyone laughs. Technicalities aside, it's obvious that Savannah is good at games. It doesn't mean that we can't have game night. It just means we all have something to learn if we actually want to win. But winning isn't everything. I don't mind losing. I just like having fun with my friends. As cheesy as it sounds. I'm so happy here. Being with everyone. They're all so great. Even Savannah is growing on me. I still can't get over the fact that they're supposed to answer to me as Luna. I'm the most fragile person at the table. But I'm in charge. It's ridiculous. And something I'll never get used to. No matter how much time passes. I'm sure I'll still feel a little underneath it all. One more game. How about it? 𝐾𝐜 offers, and everyone cheers except for Savannah, who gives a disapproving shake of her head. Everyone moans in disappointment. It's time for our Luna to go to bed. She needs her rest. I feel like pouting and demanding that I'm not a child. But I know she's right. I'm tired, and I haven't even done very much today besides sit around. So our fun night ends. And of course 𝐊𝐲𝐬 makes me sit back down when I try to get up and help everyone clean the table. I grumble, because no one lets me do anything anymore. I glare down at my belly playfully, knowing it's the reason for it. 𝐿𝐲𝐬 doesn't mind being a pregnant person. She doesn't have any trouble with getting out of breath or getting dizzy, and she doesn't even mind being banished from doing anything. She stretches, letting everyone do the work while she lazily rubs her extended stomach that's much more obvious with the tights where she wears. It would seem she's content, and that she's accepted her job to sit and rest without argument. It's not that I don't feel tired. I really want to rest, but I don't want to be useless either. It's ingrained in me to be polite. It's the southern in me. There's a knock at the door, and 𝐿𝐲𝐬 just lights up. 𝐾𝐜 is busy cleaning up the cards while everyone else is in the kitchen washing the dishes. So I just yell for whoever it is to come on, and since this is my house, and I'm apparently not even allowed to get up, it's merely seconds before 𝐊𝐲𝐾 walks in, taking up all the space with his presence and enormous shoulders. Even with �KELP and I in the room, 𝐿𝐲𝐻 unashamed as he goes to 𝐿𝐷𝐿's side and kneels by her chair. His hand goes to her belly bump, and the other delves into her hair, his fingers entangling in the sunshine strands. And how is my sweet mate? 𝐊𝐲𝐾 whispers, so gentle and loving when it comes to just her. It just makes me nauseous, because I miss Cedric. How did I stand 5 months of this separation? Everyone was right. The mate bond really is powerful. I look away, but quickly have to look back up when 𝐊𝐲𝐾 addresses me of all people. Luna. He bows his head to me in respect. I don't know what to do with myself when that happens. People around here tend to do that sometimes. It's always awkward. I just wish people would treat me normally. 𝐊𝐲𝐾 holds her hand as they leave, waving silently while he leads 𝐿𝐷𝐿 outside. Eventually, 𝐾𝐜 has to say goodbye as well when Ezra comes to get her too. Stacy literally jumps on Reed and wraps her legs around his waist when he comes in, and I can see the amount of love he has for her. It takes someone special to put up with Stacy. I should know. Eventually everyone is gone as the men have collected their women. Even Miranda says farewell as she walks away into the dark by herself. It's just me and my babysitter now. I finally get up and walk into the kitchen, wondering where she went. A slight breeze comes from the front door, and I follow the sound of her voice. Savin is standing on the front porch, leaning against the banister, a cell phone pressed to her ear as she murmurs into it. I haven't checked on him in a while. When are they coming to pick him up? He shouldn't be here, especially with her around. I don't know who she's talking about, but I have a feeling I know who she's talking to. The longer 𝐿𝐲𝐻 here, the longer I have to put up with trying to make 𝐊𝐲𝐾 calm down. 𝐿𝐲𝐻 is so damn paranoid. She muses, but you can tell she's being genuine underneath. I put 2 and 2 together, realizing she's talking about Jameson. 𝐊𝐲𝐾 hates Jameson. Suddenly, Savannah turns, spotting me before I even make it through the front door. She offers me a small smile of understanding. She wants to talk to you, she says simply, and comes forward to hand me the phone. I gladly take it, staying on the porch as she heads inside. I wait for her to disappear before I look at the phone, anxious to talk to the man on the other end. I bring it to my ear, sighing as I wait impatiently to just hear his voice again. Hey. Walking across the creaky wood under me, heading for the bench swing across the porch. Hey B, how are you holding up? Cedric asks, and I shrug even though he can't see me. I swing Sophie on the swing, happy that the cold night doesn't affect me much since I'm pregnant. I'm always so overheated because of this baby. This chilly weather feels oddly nice. I'm alright. Missing you, I mumble lamely, and he gives a husky chuckle under his breath. I miss you too. So much. You have no idea how much I want to see you. He sounds stressed. I hate to do that to him. I feel like this is my fault that he has to deal with this. Isn't it bad enough that I almost got killed by someone I trusted? Now this whole thing has taken my mate away from me too. After I've been silent a while, Cedric sighs. It will be fine, Hendrix. I'll be back soon, and this will all be over. He assures me, but I don't think it will ever be over. Not really. This whole separation has reminded me that I need you more than you need me. I'm miserable without you. I laugh and shake my head. 𝐊𝐢𝐳 is so stupid. I don't know if 𝐊𝐢𝐳 is serious or not. What happened to me being a weak human? I ask 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐻𝐼, and he chuckles. You're still that. But you're strong too. So strong. And I'm so proud of you. You've handled this. All of this. With so much strength and grace. No other human or lycan could do what you've done. I'm humbled by his rant, but I don't really know what to say. I can't believe he thinks that of me. Thank you. It's what I settle for. You're welcome. I can't wait to get back. It's so boring here. Meetings and assholes. You would hate it. That does sound pretty sucky. I hope it's going well. I wonder, and Cedric is quick to agree. As well as I would have hoped. We're both quiet for a second, and then I speak up. Is someone coming to take Jameson away? And my mate pauses. I can picture him shaking his head. You heard that? Did you? He treads carefully, like a ticking time bomb that it'll explode any second. I don't really know how I should feel about it. On one hand, I can't see past old Jameson who I trusted and cared about. To my authentic coordinator, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I know that 𝐊𝐢𝐳 is not a good person. He was going to kill me. To my authentic coordinator, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He deserves any punishment he gets. I know that you're worried about my feelings, and I appreciate it. But you'll feel more safe when 𝐊𝐢𝐳 is gone. I admit, because it's true. Jameson's presence alone unnerves me. I feel similarly to a 𝐊𝐲𝐾. I don't like knowing Jameson is around. Don't worry. He can't get to you. 𝐊𝐢𝐳 is locked up tight. A little bit of tension in his voice. Now I've made him more protective. Great. Before I can reply, Savannah pops her head out of the door to give me a check. Rubbing my belly and going to stand up, she quickly makes it to my side, helping me out of the swing with firm but gentle hands, leading me back into the house. I have to go. My babysitter says it's my bedtime. I joke, but there's a bit of truth to how much I detest being watched over like a kid. It makes sense, but I don't exactly love it. I know they're just taking care of me, and I am tired after all. Every step feels like a marathon. Savannah playfully rolls her eyes, and Cedric laughs in my ear. It's only been a day and a half, and I already miss him. He'll be home tomorrow night or the next day, but it seems like a world away. Time slows when 𝐊𝐢𝐳 is gone. Well, I hope you sleep well, and he'll be back before you know it. Tell Savannah to take good care of you. I love you. And I actually want to burst into tears having to say goodbye. I wish I had my own phone so I'd call him whenever I want, but we haven't had the chance to get me one yet. My old one didn't have any signal when I got here. I have to get a new provider. If I had my own phone, it probably wouldn't be a great thing anyway. I would be calling Cedric every time I think about him. Love you too. Stay safe. And he agrees. I hand the phone over to Savannah. She ends the call and sends me upstairs. I'm not surprised when she follows me. She's been helping me prepare for bed. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I thought it was weird, but I do have trouble changing my clothes sometimes. I don't want to admit I need her help, but I do. Every day seems to make my condition worse. It's hard to do anything without having to stop to catch my breath or to steady myself on a piece of furniture. When I complained about having Savannah help me, she informed me that for centuries royal women would have their ladies' maids do everything for them, and I only need her because I'm pregnant and 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 isn't here to do it for me. It's not like 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 seeing me naked. I have a feeling that even if I was pregnant, she would still follow me up here and make sure I was safe. 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 explained it's only natural for his pack to take care of me, especially his beta, gamma, and delta. The fact that I'm human only makes the protective instinct stronger, smoothing my nightgown over myself. I quickly brush my teeth while Savannah stands in the doorway patiently. I waddle over to the bed, and she pulls the covers back, literally tucking me into the sweet haven that is my bed. 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 has a huge bed to fit his enormous frame. Not everyone can say that their feet hang off of a king-sized bed, but he can. He had it custom-made. I feel so tiny since I'm swallowed up in the huge bed, but it's unbelievably cozy. My mate has good taste. I could live in this bed. You need anything? Savannah asks, clicking off the bedside lamp before looking down at me through the moonlight that slants through the window. I almost don't say anything, but then when she starts to turn away, I reluctantly speak up. I hate to bother her, but this is important. Savannah, I say quietly. She turns, raising her eyebrows expectantly. I almost back down. Why do you help me? Well, I thought you didn't like me. I admit, because I need to know why. 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 tries to convince me she likes me, but when we first met, she looked at me with so much disdain. Now, she's so maternal and kind that I can't seem to figure it out. She walks back to the bed, her slim body a thing of envy in my current state. 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 tells me I'm beautiful every day, but it's hard to believe him. Savannah sits down on the edge of the mattress, gazing at me with those strange eyes. The pupils are the color of fresh buttermilk. It's the oddest thing, but so beautiful against her taunt skin. I'm sorry about the way I treated you before, but you have to understand it was hard for me to accept that 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 found you. I've been in love with him since I met him. Her words shock me into silence. I can't believe she just said that. She's been in love with 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 for over 100 years, and he chose me. It seems impossible. These lycans and werewolves have a moon goddess, and she picked me to be tied to him. I'm grateful, but it's still hard for me to understand. Savannah seems good enough for him, strong enough to carry his baby, experienced enough to run his pack, beautiful enough to be a queen. If you love him, then why don't you hate me? Why do you help me? Take care of me? I don't get it. Needing to get to the bottom of this. If I'm going to live for the rest of forever, I need to understand her. 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 and in command. Because I love him, and he loves you. You are the most important thing to him, and I only want him to be happy, no matter how much it hurts. Savannah explains. She smiles, but her eyes are so sad. My heart melts for her. It can't be easy to watch someone you love while they love somebody else. I don't know what I would do, but I definitely wouldn't feel very kind to the woman who was in the place I wanted to be. I almost want to be mad at Savannah for the way she wants 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻, but I can't. I just feel sorry for her. If I had any thought that my relationship with my mate was at risk with her being around, maybe I would have my claws out. However, 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 has assured me you only get one mate, and he'll only ever want me. I have no reason to be scared anymore. He won't leave me, at least, not for another woman, and you are my Luna, as little as you are. I will always protect you, she admits, shrugging her shoulders like it's no big deal. I nod, only because I'm tired of talking about my protection. It's getting old. I truly am. I wish I didn't love 𝐿𝐥𝐼𝐻 the way I do, and I'm trying to get over him. It's just that sometimes you can't control who you love, no matter how hard you try. She murmurs, and hearing that pain in her voice, it destroys me. I know that I'm part of the source of that pain, and I'm starting to care about her, especially after seeing her good side, her kind side, her vulnerable side. Pulling the covers up to my chin, I snuggle in as my exhaustion sets in. I can't hardly keep my eyes open. You'll find your mate. I'm sure he'll be perfect for you. I comfort her, and through my bleary eyes I see her smile. I've seen her smile before, but not like this. It's a genuine, happy smile brimming with surprise. Thank you. I hope you're right. It's not long before I fade into a dark, dreamless sleep, getting the rest I need to fight my daily battle of carrying one of these beautiful monsters. 50 picture of my past 𝐊𝐲𝐷 POV. A relief like any other floods me when I pull into packed grounds onto wheels. The gate swings open. The road takes me closer and closer to the love of my life and the center of our safety. I hated every moment spent away from her. It was pure torture. I'm sure she was fine, but I wasn't. I need her more than she ever needed me. And I'm slowly realizing that, since finding out she's pregnant, I can't stand to be far away. It's hard to stop myself from considering what would happen if she went into labor while I was gone. What if I wasn't able to get back in time? What if something happened to her? I pull up to the house, parking my motorcycle and climbing off in a hurry. I take the stairs 3 at a time up to the house, swinging open the front door and practically slamming it shut. Impatient to get to her. She's in this house, so close yet so far away. What I'm greeted with is 𝐾𝐿𝐻 coming down the hallway. She walks towards the door, her eyes widening when she spots me standing in the entryway. Savannah said it's all right that I stay behind to watch Hendrix. I hope that's okay. I nod, too tired to argue. It's Savannah's fault anyway, not hers. I just preferred one of my licans in command to be here. Usually has an issue with it, but I just want to see her. I don't even care right now. Looking anxiously at the stairs where my mate is, I'm starved of seeing her. If I have to wait even another minute I might break something. 𝐾𝐿𝐻 pulls her purse high onto her shoulder, smiling at me like she knows my predicament. So it's all right if I go ahead and leave. She wonders, and I nod, hardly even listening to her. She laughs. You're lucky. She's a great girl. You deserve her. 𝐾𝐿𝐻 tries to walk out the front door, but I step in front of her, remembering that I need to ask her something. This isn't going to be easy. I need to talk to Ezra. Can you send him over to my office as soon as you get home? And her eyebrows furrow while she stops in the doorway to look back at me. I can tell she wants to ask me what's wrong. She's very perceptive and knows that something isn't right, but she knows it's not my place to tell. Ezra will soon share it with her, and she will help carry the burden and comfort him. It's just the way mates are. They help each other from the darkest things. She agrees, leaving the house quickly and leaving me in silence. I decide to bring my luggage up to my room, and to check on my mate. I don't know if she's asleep, and I don't know if I want her to be or not. On one hand, I'd love to talk to her, but I need to get dressed and meet Ezra as soon as possible. If Hendrix is awake, I may never get around to leaving. I just want to talk to her for hours. Thankfully, she's fast asleep. I watch her as I grab some fresh clothes from the dresser. Her side rises and falls evenly, her eyes and lips twitching as she dreams of only goddess knows what. I pull on a new shirt, irritated with the one I've been wearing of a day through travel. I had to take a plane to Merrill and to go to all the necessary meetings at the guard base. Airports are crowded and filled with annoying people, and so large that I need first class just to be able to fit my legs in the seat space. And even walking through the aisle is a struggle since I have to bend my neck at ridiculous angles to make it work. As soon as I saw my motorcycle parked in the parking lot, I knew I was home free. My bike represents my freedom. No more human crowded travel. Walking over to the bed, I sigh as I shrug a new jacket over my shoulders. I recall a flight attendant woman trying to flirt with me by brushing a hand against my leather jacket. I immediately took it off and shoved it in my carry-on. I can't stand the scent of another female being on me at all. It makes me sick to my stomach. I bend down to my knees, leaning over Hendrix and brushing my fingers over her hair. Her scent is the only one I want. I crave it. Kissing her forehead, I just look at her for a few seconds. Then I stand back up and force myself to walk away so I can get this over with. I need to tell Ezra the truth. He deserves to know. I know he played it off like he doesn't need it, but I know that it will at least give him some closure. I'm thankful that Aditya was kind enough to help me out with the files. I grabbed the papers from my bag before slipping out of the house into the cold night. Despite the weather warming up, the nights are still brisk throughout the summer months. It's a quick trip to my office. It's in a little building with 3 other officers from my team. They each get their own space to do what they need. Ezra and Savannah use theirs often, but 𝐊𝐲 is not interested in being locked up inside. He says he craves the outdoors. I don't blame him. Not many 𝐿 like to be crammed behind a desk at our size. It's not very comfortable. The night is dark. Aside from the bright stars above, I trudge forward, not wasting a second of time. I walk into the office and stomp off my boots. The grass outside is still damp from the melted snow that flows down from the mountains, not to mention the rainy weather that's been plaguing us. Though the building is quiet, appearances can be deceiving. I know Ezra is already here. I can smell him right when I open the door. 𝐊𝐲 is sitting in my office, looking relaxed in a leather chair across from my desk. But I know otherwise. He may seem collected, but his scent tells a different story. 𝐊𝐲 is agitated. 𝐊𝐸𝐼𝐺𝐻𝐸 𝐊𝐸 𝐊𝐸𝐺𝐻𝐸. We've spoken already about his mother before. It gotten a picture from the CPO. They said it was all they had on her. 𝐿𝐸𝐺𝐻𝐸 𝐊𝐸𝐺𝐻𝐸. Ezra already knows that Cole killed his mother. We never knew why, or who she even was. Now I do, and the background story isn't pretty. I'm not sure how he'll react to this. I've actually come to care about Ezra, and I don't want him hurt. What is it? Before I even land in my chair, I finally sit, observing him carefully as I lift the folder to the table and slip it open. My eyes wandering the pages and pursing my lips. I don't know where to start, or how to word it. I look back up at my gamma. His yellow eyes are restless, and he won't look away from me. I think you know what this is about, I guess. And his eyebrows furrow in question. My mother. He clarifies, and I nod grimly, pulling out a page with all her information. I scroll through the lines of information like I did countless times on the plane home. I know this information forwards and backwards. Her name was Ruby Townsend. She was from San Francisco, and she was only 22 years old when she gave birth to you. She was a human, I say slowly, trying to lessen the blow. He sinks down into his chair, running a hand over his face as he sobers up completely. These are the words 𝐿𝐸 has been waiting to hear his whole life. He thought his mother dumped him in a garbage can when he was a toddler. It's what 𝐿𝐸 has been told all through his childhood. Ezra murmurs the word human before slamming a hand down on the wooden arm of the chair. It cracks from the pressure. I can see the pain in his eyes. 𝐿𝐸 is putting the pieces together. His mother was human. She was killed because of having him. She was purely defenseless. There was no way she could have put up a fight. Ruby's demise only reminds me of what could have happened to Hendrix. The CPO has been doing this for years, but they won't even be able to attempt it again. So Cole, to my agent extraordinaire, 𝐿𝐸𝐺𝐻𝐸, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He knew. It says on file that he found out she had you, and figured out the secret. He put it together, figured out how the CPO got all the 𝐿 children. He asked for their help to extract you. In return, he asked to be the one to kill your mother. I can see Ezra's heart breaking right in front of me. I'm resistant to continue. However, my gamma is insistent. What else? Do you know? And I oblige despite my hesitancy. 𝐿𝐸 is a grown male. He knows the line between what he can take and what he shouldn't hear for his own sanity. Well, Ruby had already moved to upstate California, because at the time it was considered shameful in the human community to have a child out of wedlock, and she didn't want her family to know. It was obvious to the detectives assigned to her that she knew you were different, and she went to great lengths to ensure your safety. She knew they were tailing her, and she ran. They even tried to attack once, and she somehow got away. It was months before they found you both again. And well, you know what happened. 𝐻𝐵 runs a hand through his red hair, a hopeless expression painted across his face while he desperately tries to soak in the information. I can't imagine how hard it must be to hear the story behind his mother. My 𝐿 was also killed years ago, back in Ireland. She didn't live long enough to see me become a fully mature icon. When she was killed, it drove father mad. I subconsciously touched the scars on my face. It always confused me. How could my own father could hurt me? He clawed my features in anger and looked at me without recognition in his half-shifted eyes. It was right after she was killed. He just snapped as soon as my mother's soul left her body. Now I know why. If something happened to Hendrix, I wouldn't be the same. I wish I could have done something. Anything to protect her. Anguish coloring his words. Shaking my head and leaning back into my chair as his words bring me back to the present. You were a child. You can't blame yourself. 𝐻𝐵's eyes are filling with tears as it starts to sink in. He opens his mouth and then closes it, deciding what to say. I could have done something. Anything. I shouldn't have hidden when she told me to. I should have gone with her. He whispers, and I'm not sure what 𝐻𝐸's talking about. But it's clear he has some memories of her. She was just a human girl, like Hendrix, so powerless and innocent. And she loved me. She tried to protect me. He killed her. Goddess, why does this world have to be so cruel? 𝐻𝐵 groans, a single tear dripping down his face. I don't judge the tears. They're understandable. 𝐻𝐸 is being vulnerable in front of his alpha. There's nothing wrong with that. I realize how opposite our parental situation is. His father killed his mother. My father tried to kill me when his enemies slaughtered my mother. I have no idea how to relate to this. We sit here in silence for a while, and he sniffles, trying to pull himself together. It can't be an easy thing to hear. I imagine this will take a while for him to get through. I finally continue, letting him know what he can do to find peace. Cole is locked up in Norton Malum. I have connections. You can pay him a visit. Just say the word. I say slowly, letting him put together the pieces of what exactly this opportunity means. I hope he beats the shit out of that bastard. Like 𝐻𝐵. I compare Ruby's death to Hendrix. Their similar situation haunts me. Just a deathly reminder of what could have happened to my mate. I want Cole to pay for killing that innocent girl, for taking a caring mother away from her child. 𝐻𝐵 nods, brusquely standing and then looking at me like he doesn't quite know what to do. I doubt 𝐻𝐸 has ever felt like this before. His life is complicated, and 𝐻𝐸 has been raised to push down emotion. This is new for him. I guess I'll have to instruct him. Go to your mate. Tell her what happened. Find comfort in her presence. You need a break. Don't worry about work. Take all the time you need. I instruct him, and he nods, peace filling his eyes as he thinks of his mate. 𝐾𝐤 knows how to take care of 𝐻𝐵, and 𝐻𝐸 is lucky to have her in his life. Mates bring us peace. 𝐻𝐸 is the best example of that. He was a mass murderer until 𝐿 came along and fixed him. Speaking of mates, I better get home to mine. Anxious to see her again and hold her in my arms. Every day she grows bigger with our child. I have to be by her side. She could pop any second. 𝐻𝐵 reaches out his hand, and I shake it as I stand up, meeting his eyes. Thank you. Genuinely thankful. I nodded him. I'm happy to help. We go our separate ways, going to the haven we found in our mates. No matter how traumatic the past has been to us, there's no better comfort than a mate. The moon goddess blesses us. There's no better way to thank our goddess than to enjoy our gifts and take care of them, never taking them for granted. I don't mind, because it's all I want to do. Hendrix is my reason for living. I'm thankful to have found her, because she came to me just in time. 51 𝐿𝐴 𝐊𝐿𝐴. I'm so happy. I never thought I could possibly be this happy. That's how happy I am. I can't stop myself from accidentally touching and bumping into Cedric as we decorate the nursery. Every little brush of skin keeps me flirty and filled to the brim with joy. You could say I'm glowing with my pregnancy. He keeps grinning too, admiring me every now and again while he works. A typical man. He insists on doing all the heavy lifting. Not I mind. I'm not in any shape to be doing those types of things. I gladly let my mate hang things on the wall and carry the crib parts up the stairs. I admire the vintage metal crib and my mate's backside. I can't help it. 𝐊𝐤𝐧𝐼 wearing low jeans around his hips and a tight black shirt that matches his raven hair. Every move he makes draws my gaze. Why am I so horny? I'm pregnant. Mission accomplished. Uterus. You can stop it now, I whisper under my breath. And Cedric's head swivels. What was that? Baby. He wonders innocently. And my face goes bright red. He heard that. Of course he did. 𝐊𝐤𝐧𝐼 a freak. He can hear everything. I need to get used to these lichens and their special abilities. Oh, nothing. I brush it off casually, turning back to the crib and adjusting the quilt on the edge of the bars with fussy fingers. I have nothing else better to do while Cedric works. I look around and can honestly say that I'm proud of the room. It's filled with neutral colors. Number 1 is because I like them, and number 2 is because we don't know the gender yet. I've always thought gendered colors was a stupid idea anyway. Who says blue is for boys and girls have to like pink? They're literally just colors. But I love the nursery. There are stuffed animals and cute little books, a comfy rocking chair, soft baby clothes. I'm so excited I can hardly wait for this baby to be out just so he or she can occupy the home I've built for them. I know I'm towards the end of my pregnancy, but how close I am to delivering is still a mystery. The doctor says I likely have 2 weeks left, which means I might be 19 before I have our pup. I feel like it could be any day. I'm fixin' to pop. Cedric is suddenly beside me. His heavy arm drapes over my shoulders as he admires his handiwork around the room. He hung a big mirror on the wall above the changing table. I turn into him, looking up at him. A content smile is on his handsome, scarred face. He won't stop talking about how excited he is for a baby to arrive. It's so adorable. 𝐊𝐤𝐧𝐼 ready to be a father. 𝐊𝐤𝐧𝐼 taking such good care of me too. I don't deserve him, but I'm thankful that 𝐊𝐤𝐧𝐼 in my life. I love him more than anything. I know that there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. After all we've been through, I can't honestly say that I'm learning to trust again. Throughout my life I've found that sometimes I'm too quick to trust the wrong people, and slow to learn to rely on those that are best for me. What do you think? Cedric asks, wanting my approval of his job well done. He made sure that we have everything we need for the baby, and then some. My mate made sure that I have everything I could ever ask for. We're very prepared physically, but I'm not so sure about the mental aspect quite yet. It looks great. You did an amazing job. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience and enthusiasm. I assure him, and he beams, glancing around the room with eyes that light up when they land on the various decorations. I can't wait for the baby to be here. He reminds me, and I nod, smiling in return. 𝐊𝐤𝐧𝐼 said that only 1,000,000 times. Yeah, me too. I hope it's soon. I don't know how much more pregnancy I can take at this rate. I point out the obvious, leaning back and rubbing my extended belly. Cedric knows how hard it's been on me to carry around this kid. My back is always in agony, and it's hard to sleep even though I'm always tired. It's madness. In my baby's shelter right now. It must be cozy in there, because it doesn't want to come out quite yet. Cedric eyes me up and down, lingering on my belly, pursing his lips before he opens them to speak. You're not going to be very happy with me, but I have to go back to the guard base for more meetings. So if you could keep our pup in there a little longer, that would be great, he explains reluctantly, his stubble-covered jaw clenching. Utterly spent. I don't want him to leave me again. He just got home a few days ago, and I haven't been able to leave his side since then. Every night I hold on tight to him while he spoons me. I'm so scared that he'll wake up alone again. Like when he left me the first time. I don't want to miss a single second of time with him. We've missed so much already. And this baby will change our life. I'm afraid of losing more time. We have a rest forever. I shouldn't be this panicked to spend every second. But I miss him when 𝐿𝐲 is not here. There's this deep ache when 𝐶𝐵𝐺 is gone. I don't feel safe. And I can't seem to get warm. I'm sorry. Baby. I'll be back as soon as I can. Why don't you just take me with you? I blurt before I can stop myself. And he looks down at me with a disapproving face. Two lines form between his caterpillar-sized eyebrows. I say, feeling miles away from him. We agree on a lot, but sometimes we argue over stupid stuff. I just wish he would be more lenient. Please. Cedric. If you're only going to be there for a little while, I might as well tag along. I push, and his mouth twists to the side. His arm pulls me tighter against his side. He doesn't like the idea. 𝐿𝐲 is too protective. He told me he likes having me here where an army of lichens can shield me from danger. But I feel better with him. I guess my mate sees how sad I am at the prospect of being separated from him again. So he sighs dramatically. I watch as he pinches the bridge of his nose. You're going to be the death of me. You can come, but you have to let me take care of you without any objections. You hear me? He relents and I jump up and down while I squeal. Which was a good idea. Crap. I whisper, putting a hand on Cedric's chest to steady myself. He grabs me by the shoulders. What is it? Holding me in place as his ruby red eyes scan every part of my body. Did your water break? Nope. It's not that. I say shakily. He tilts his head to the side, narrowing his eyes at me in scrutiny. What is it? I might have peed a little. Cedric helps me get undressed, turning to the bathtub to run some hot bath water so I can get nice and clean. He takes my spoiled clothes and throws them in the laundry while I wait for the bathtub to fill. I wrap my arms around myself, a little insecure of my stretch marks and larger body. But my mate keeps his eyes on what 𝐿𝐲 is doing as he adds bubble bath to the mix. When he does look at me, it's not with lust-filled eyes that seek my most private part, but with love and affection. I blush at his sweet nature. How is he the most powerful being on the planet when 𝐿𝐲 is just a big old teddy bear? Even though he was laughing at me for peeing my pants, I can't help but enjoy the teasing. I pretended to be annoyed with him. But what's not funny about a pregnant lady having no control of her bladder? It's kind of hilarious. Plus, I can't be mad at him right now. He agreed to take me to his meetings. Once I sink into the deep, clawfoot tub of hot water, I don't want to get out. The frothy bubbles lap at my achy breasts and to back. I groan in appreciation when Cedric dims the lights in the bathroom. This is perfect. Thank you. To my agent extraordinaire, 𝐿𝐲, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience and enthusiasm. I murmur, my eyes fluttering closed, but not before I spot the satisfied smile on his face. Who knew he'd find a man as good as him? I spend my time soaking, relaxing. I scrub myself with the sweet-smelling soap, brush my hair, and shave my armpits. I lift a leg, eyeing it suspiciously and then lifting the razor to eye level. I lean forward to make sure that Cedric isn't hanging around before I even attempt to shave my very hairy legs. Not that it really matters, but I haven't shaved my legs in a month. 'Cause my dark hair. It looks terrible. I know it's just body hair, and it shouldn't matter. But it matters to me. To my agent extraordinaire, 𝐿𝐲, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. My stomach is literally a roadblock to shave. I can't reach around the baby bump to save my life. Even though the hair is totally normal, I just feel better when it's gone. I wonder if I could just get the right angle. I bite my lip, resting my foot on the edge of the tub and reaching as far as I can. I get all the hair off of my knee, and about a quarter way down my calf before I can't go any farther. No matter how hard I stretch, lean, and twist, I can't shave another hair. It's impossible. I'm panting with effort as my whole body trembles with exertion. Stupid pregnancy. Stupid hairy legs. I grumble stupidly, finally leaning back, effectively giving up. I throw the razor into the water with a plop. Having trouble. 𝐊𝐤𝐳 voice startles me, and I splash a little when I sit up. He fills out the entire doorway, leaning on the wood frame as he watches me with a wry expression. I shake my head, acting innocent. No. I shrug, looking back at the bubble-filled basin, silently telling my mate that conversation is over. It doesn't work, because he knows me too well. Come on, what is it? Waltzing into the room on his long sexy legs. Lucky men. They don't have to shave their legs. Cedric kneels beside the bathtub, leaning over me and tucking my hair out of my face. I sigh, because it's not fair. He can get me to tell him anything with that one move. Empathy in his hands. I want to shave my legs, but him too fat. I 𝐊𝐤𝐳, and I burst into a fit of hormone-induced tears. I can't get a handle on my emotions as I drown in my sorrow. The sobs won't stop. I don't expect the panic in 𝐊𝐤𝐳's eyes as he tries to figure out how to calm me down. He tries to shush me, and I quiet down a little. But the floodgates have been opened. I can hardly see his handsome face through the torrent of tears assaulting my eyes. I hiccup and sniffle, covering my face in embarrassment. Cedric grabs my wrists and pulls them away so he can see me. Baby, listen. No one cares about a little leg hair. It's harmless. Your 𝐸's still beautiful. He insists, eyebrows furrowed. I sniffle, not quite believing him, but feeling comforted regardless. 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. But it comes out more like a whimper. I'm probably annoying him with how emotional I am. I'm annoying myself. 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. But if it means that much to you, I'll do it, he promises. And my mouth falls open. Cedric, I will not let you shave my gross legs. I insist, leaning away and slipping around on the bottom of the tub as a result. The enormous like a man responds by chuckling. He shoves his muscular arm into the water, fishing around until he finds what 𝐊𝐤𝐳 is looking for. When he holds up the dripping wet razor, I think I might die of embarrassment. He saw me throw it in the water. He was watching me for that long. Come on. I know you want me too. Don't be embarrassed. If you can handle my gruesome scars, then I can take shaving your little legs. I don't correct him. There is nothing dainty about my legs. I want to say no, horrified at having him fulfill every whim for me. I hate all these simple little things forced onto my partner because I'm too helpless to do it myself. But the offer ends up being too tempting to pass up. Oh right. I'm known. And Cedric relaxes with victory, sending shockwaves down my spine when he carefully reaches for my already exposed ankle and pulls it towards him. He grabs a bottle of body wash and carefully smears it across my skin. 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Every bit of physical contact gets me fuzzy on the inside. Again, I ask myself why I'm so thirsty. I want him to touch me so bad. Cedric carefully runs the blade over my leg, savoring every dip and peak in the curves as he carefully watches what 𝐊𝐤𝐳's doing. I never make a sound. Too fascinated by his gentle movements. He does the other leg, switching over so quickly you would think he does this every day. When the razor becomes 𝐾𝐜𝐤𝐳, he clears it out by swishing it through the water. I watch the tiny black hairs float around on the surface. I blush, flicking them away with my fingers. It's too bad the bubbles didn't last a little bit longer to hide my shame. Cedric finally finishes, and by the time 𝐊𝐤𝐳 is done, I'm so high-strung you could play me like a guitar. I'm hung up on every flex of his muscles. He helps me out of the tub, all but lifting me from under my armpits. I lean on him while he dries me off with a fluffy white towel, and I feel like my skin is on fire. I reach for him, and he lets me grab him by the neck while 𝐊𝐤𝐳 is on his knees drying off my legs. Cedric is probably thinking it's an innocent hold, but then I plant my lips on his, bending to his level. Of course he leans into the kiss, but then pulls away when I try to stick my tongue in his mouth. "Baby." "No," he says softly, but so firm that I want to stomp my foot like a little kid. I know rationally why 𝐿𝐷 won't have sex with me right now. There are two major reasons that stare me down every time I start feeling frisky. First of all, I'm so weak I can hardly stand up by myself, let alone do the nasty. Cardio is not my strong suit right now. And second, 𝐿𝐷 still hasn't marked me. Apparently a lot of supernatural creatures mark their mates with a bite to the neck. It freaks me out a little, but I'm all for it if it's a big part of 𝐿𝐷's culture and it means that much to him. Who knows? Maybe he'll like it. But 𝐿𝐷's not allowed to mark me while I'm still pregnant. I'm first human mate to a shifter, and apparently they don't know what will happen when he sinks his teeth into my neck, and what it could do to the baby. It could very well send me into labor. It only makes sense. Better safe than sorry, I guess. I dry off completely, then I'm throwing on some more pajamas, because that's all I want to wear now, and it's time to go to bed. I go for one of 𝐿𝐷's shirts that reaches my knees. They're so comfortable, and his smell is like nothing else. As soon as I lay down on the bed, I rock my legs back and forth across the mattress. There's nothing like freshly shaved legs when you're laying in soft sheets. My eyes are already closed, and I can feel my body growing heavier with sleep. I don't move when my mate finally slides into bed beside me, but I'm much warmer when his arms wrap around me. I'm barely even conscious when I feel his mouth press up against my ear. "I love you so much." 50 to smile for me, 𝐿𝐷. I sit rather impatiently in a wooden chair, shifting every now and then as the back digs into my skin. When 𝐿𝐷 saw how uncomfortable the chair looked, he immediately put his leather jacket down on it before I sat down. It was a sweet gesture, but it's practically useless. He has a meeting, and apparently it's pretty long. He said he would try to hurry it along before he left me in the hallway to wait for his return. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I wanted to weasel my way into the meeting right along with him, but he refused. Apparently they're discussing Jameson's punishment. 𝐿𝐷 doesn't want me there for that, and I understand why. I don't want to be there either. I blow out a breath, looking down at the book in my lap, and easily, another one of Cherry's favorites. The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. It's interesting, but it's hard to get into any book right now. I've plenty of things to worry about, like the way my ribs throb from all the kicking the baby is doing. They all say the baby will come any day now. I'm just wondering how soon that will be. I'm so done waiting. I just want it out of me. Both because I'm excited to hold my bundle of joy, and because I want to feel like myself again. I'll never take my body for granted again. When I feel a light tap on my shoulder, I look up from my book with alarm. Didn't hear anyone approach me. Didn't feel another presence. My eyes search to no avail before going downward to meet a little boy sitting in the chair next to me. He tilts his head up at me, his mysterious lime green eyes peeking out from under his shaggy, dirty blonde hair. A constellation of freckles covers his face. A natural smile grows on my face at the sight of him. 𝐿𝐷 a curious sight. I find myself peeking around to see if any adults are around to be watching him. It would seem 𝐿𝐷 alone, which is strange. He can't be older than 4 years old. I'm 18 and I'm hardly left alone, which is more to do with my species and pregnant state than my age. I have a feeling this little boy isn't human. We are at the guard headquarters after all. "Hello there, hi," he replies, to the grin splitting his lips as his adorable little scratchy voice fills my heart up. He swings his short legs back and forth idly while he watches me. I know 𝐿𝐷 like him just by the way his eyes look like neon with how they glow. "Why is your belly so big?" I laugh wholeheartedly while I put my book down after shoving the bookmark in between the pages. I don't know what to think about this kid. My hand carefully rubs my distended stomach as I turn to face the little guy. He raises his eyebrows as he waits for my answer. There's a pup in there. His eyes grow wide and his face twists in confusion. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. But how can he breathe in there? I laugh again. This time it's too much. My side pinches in pain. I try to stop, but it's just too funny. Don't worry about it. The pup can breathe just fine. And why do you think it's a boy? I answer. Because I find it amusing that he thinks he knows the gender. Then again, 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐿𝐬. Children think the oddest things. Because boys are cool. I grin at him and he beams up at me with pride. 𝐿𝐤𝐧 very sure of himself. Boys are pretty cool. But so are girls. What's your name? I ask and he sits up in his chair, leaning towards me more. He tells me his name like it's a well-kept secret. 𝐸𝐴. Who are you? Hendrix. It's very nice to meet you. My hand reaches out for a handshake, and he just stares at it in utter confusion. It would seem I've dumbfounded him. I hold back my laughter, knowing that it'll only hurt. This kid is adorable. I find myself wondering again why 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐿𝐬 unattended. Do they do that a lot with Lycon pups? You're supposed to shake it with your hand. It's like saying hello. I tell him, and he nods with a shy grin. It's sort of funny that he doesn't know what a handshake is. He puts his little hand into mine and shakes it vigorously. His grip is strong, and I wince. I don't care though, because 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐿𝐬 is so precious. 𝐸𝐴's little face beams up at me and my heart clenches in my chest. Is this what it will be like when I have my own little one? I'm always scared I won't be a good mother. I know nothing about kids, but will it at least be a little bit like this? I can only hope. My thoughts are cut short by a kick in my womb, as if my baby wants to assure me that everything will be okay. 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐿𝐬. Do you want to feel him? 𝐸𝐴 nods his head without hesitation and I take a hold of his hand, guiding it to my belly and placing it on the part where the pup is making herself known. The pup gives a great big kick, which 𝐸𝐴 feels under his fingertips. His eyes grow wide with amazement and his pink lips drop open, displaying his shock. 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐿𝐬 shake my hand. I burst out laughing, and he joins in too. But I don't think it's because he found humor in the situation, but because kids are like parrots. How did he get in there? Somehow I knew that was coming. Obviously I'm not going to be explaining the birds and the bees to this little kid, so I improvise. Because I'm his mother. 𝐸𝐴 contemplates that for a long time before asking another question. Does that mean that you're the pup's mommy? The question catches me off guard, and I glance at him carefully. I nod slightly while he continues to feel my belly, his tiny fingers never leaving yes. I'm his mommy, I reply, and the words make the situation more real. In less than a month I will be a mum. I can't believe it's already coming up so soon. I don't know if I'm ready for it, but it doesn't matter. This baby will be here whether I'm ready or not. 𝐸𝐴 gets a thoughtful look on his face where he stares at my stomach some more. He looks back up at me with a smile. He's lucky. I wish I had a mommy. Those words haunt me, bringing prickling tears to my eyes. 𝐸𝐴 must be one of the children taken from the CPO. It clicks into place. This sweet child has no mother to look after him. I'm starting to get choked up, and it's not just because of the hormones. How many children go without a parent? I don't even want to think about it. Why you cry? As if it completely stunned him that I'm upset. He doesn't understand how sad it is that 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐿𝐬 motherless. The poor thing. I quickly wipe away my tears, trying to hide the evidence and failing. I'm a sniffling mess. Well, I wish you had a mommy too, I say softly, and he nods in agreement. He glances back at my tummy, heading it softly as if the subject is casual and 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐿𝐬 happy to talk about it without dwelling on his misfortune. Linda says one day a mommy will adopt me. I can't wait for my own mommy. I hope she's as good as you. Another toothy grin springing to life across his rosy cheeks. I quickly realize just how serious the situation is. They slaughtered his human mother and stole him away, just like they would have done to me. Had it not been for Cedric, I start feeling far away as I wonder what's being done to ensure the children's adoption. More than anything, I want 𝐸𝐴 in a home where he's adored by loving parents. Even though I'm in a strange place, I feel like bursting into tears. Hendrix. Enthusiasm, and my head whips around to see Cedric making his way down the hallway, anger evident on his face. I shift towards him, but 𝐻𝐸s already at my side. When he stops in front of us, his red eyes latch onto 𝐊𝐸𝐺's tiny hand on my stomach, and his black eyebrows furrow in obvious restraint. He doesn't even look at the little boy's face. He just arrows in on 𝐊𝐸𝐺's fingers high. 𝐊𝐸𝐺 says, jolly as can be. 𝐻𝐸s completely oblivious to the conflict going on high. Cedric replies, and his gaze flickers to me, a clear question on his face. 𝐻𝐸s trying to figure out what's going on. I smile reassuringly, waving a hand of dismissal. 𝐊𝐸 and I were just talking about our pup, weren't we? 𝐊𝐸 says he thinks it's going to be a boy. Isn't that right, sweetheart? 𝐊𝐸 smiles big and nods exuberantly up at Cedric. Everyone is terrified of my mate, but this lichen pup couldn't be more unaffected. Hendrix is a mommy. She's a good mommy, the tiny guy insists, not taking his attention off my pregnant stomach as his hand runs up and down gently. Tears fill my eyes again, and I feel freaking pathetic for all the crying I'm doing. Cedric smiles sadly as understanding fills his garnet gaze. 𝐻𝐸s always so sweet, so empathetic. Cedric. It's nice to meet you, Cedric says, bending down on one knee in front of 𝐊𝐸𝐺's chair. My mate's body is so tall that it still towers over the little boy. 𝐊𝐸 offers his hand, and Cedric looks caught off guard. He raises his eyebrows. You're supposed to shake it. Like this. He reaches out and grabs Cedric's much larger hand, shaking it hard and smiling with pride at what 𝐻𝐸 is trying to teach my mate. Cedric looks amused, nodding his head as he shakes his hand. This courageous pup is anything but intimidated by my man's rugged looks. Very good. You have a strong grip. Impressive. 𝐊𝐸 soaks up the praise, jumping up and down in his chair slightly. 𝐻𝐸s almost vibrating with energy. Are all kids this hyper? Or is it just lichens? Thank you. I dig a lot, he announces. Then his attention is back on the pup in my belly, tracing imaginary patterns with his fingertip on my shirt. Cedric furrows his brows and purses his lips hard, nostrils flaring, his eyes turning a bit darker. I know that look all too well. It's clear to me he doesn't want someone so young with such a strong grip touching me. I roll my eyes. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. How about we go find your caretaker? Does that sound all right? Cedric asks, carefully taking hold of his wrists and moving his fingers away from me while he distracts the pup with his words. He forgets the sad look on his face, but nods in agreement. He climbs out of the chair, reluctant to leave. I begin to stand as well, holding tightly to the arms of the chair as I push myself up with great effort. As slow as a slug, my weight naturally taxing to lift with my weak arms and legs. Cedric rushes to my side, grabbing my elbow with one hand and wrapping his other arm around my back as he carefully guides me up. I shoot him a glare and steady myself when I'm finally upright. I appreciate his help, more than anything, but I'm tired of needing help. I can do it by myself, even if it takes a little bit longer. I'm sick of people doing everything for me. I have too much pride for that. I waddle over to little 𝐊𝐸 and hold out my hand for him to grab. His frown disappears, and he holds my hand in his, excited at the mere idea of physical contact. How did the CPO treat these kids? I'm sick to my stomach thinking about it. I half expect Cedric to give me a disapproving shake of his head, but instead he gets an odd expression on his face as he stares at our joined hands, an expression that I've never seen before, far off and thoughtful, and I can't place it. We make our way down the hallway slowly but surely. There aren't many people around since it's the weekend, and I couldn't be more happy about it. There's less people to see me struggle to just walk. My heavy breathing is loud, echoing off the walls, and I can already feel sweat on my forehead. I'm pathetic, and so worn out. Why does it have to be so hard? It feels like it gets harder every day. I can tell Cedric is getting antsy, nervous. He won't stop staring at me, always right by my side if I need him. I trek on without glancing at him. I don't want to encourage him to baby me. I focus on the warm feeling of 𝐸𝐸's tiny fingers in mine. Baby, maybe you should take a break. Cedric insists in a whisper, worry filling his words like always. I shake my head in denial. I put one leg in front of the other. It's like lifting my feet out of half-dry cement. No, I can make it. Incompletely. I manage through breaths, trying to waddle faster. He giggles, like he thinks I'm joking around, not understanding what's actually going on. I smile through the pain I'm feeling in my dance-swollen ankles. Cedric must somehow sense my pain, because he makes me stop and lean against him while I catch my breath. His hand rubs my back in comfort, and I think about how much I didn't deserve him. 𝐊𝐸𝐧𝐷 too good to me. I know I'm his mate, but 𝐊𝐸𝐧𝐷 so full and amazing. It goes beyond some bond constructed by the moon goddess. This is just Cherry being Cherry. Again, I felt weak and pathetic. I'm sure a pregnant like an lady could handle this just fine. But the little human girl can't cross a building without losing her breath. Pathetic. I have to remind myself to do the best I can, and to stop comparing myself. Comparison only makes me unhappy. I'm just a little embarrassed for myself. And for Cedric, what will people think when they see me struggling for breath? Will they think I look like the queen that I'm supposed to be? I hope no one sees me like this. 𝐸𝐸 smiles up at me, and it reassures me to keep going. We finally continue our journey to the front office. When we get there, I immediately sit down in another wooden chair. It only reminds me that I forgot Cedric's jacket. To my agentic coordinator, Madeline Nelben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience and enthusiasm. Your jacket. You'll go get it. I volunteer, trying to stand up, but Cedric just gently pushes my shoulders until I'm sitting again. No, you're not doing that again. It'll kill you. He smiles jokingly. I'll go get it. Stay put. It'll be quick. Cedric rushes out the door, and it slams shut behind him. I quietly observe the almost empty room. There's a front desk with a man sitting behind it. He doesn't even glance at me as he busily types on his computer. 𝐸𝐸 climbs onto my lap, which is practically impossible since my stomach takes up so much space. He almost falls right off, and he bursts out into a fit of giggles. I hug him tight while I am forced to wait for my mate to get back. I hope he takes his sweet time. The sooner Cedric gets back, the sooner they'll take 𝐸𝐸 away. Truth is, I don't want him to leave. I'm already attached to him, and it has to even been a half an hour. I can hardly take my eyes off him. 𝐊𝐸𝐧𝐷 just so perfect. Maybe my motherly instincts are too powerful or something. Suddenly, the door to the office flies open. I expect to see Cedric, but instead I'm greeted with a tight-lipped woman who rushes into the room in a hurry. Her blue eyes hold clear shock, then absolute relief when they settle on the like-un pup in my arms. She runs a graceful hand over her tightly twisted brown bun on the top of her head. I have been looking everywhere for you, young man. Her British accent holds a bit of anger while she makes her way towards us. He struggles to cuddle closer to me, but the room he has on my knees is very limited, and he ends up falling on the ground instead. I reach for him to try to keep him from hurting himself. I'm not quick enough. The woman clicks over quickly in her high heels, bending down to lift 𝐸𝐸 into her skinny arms. Man, what I wouldn't do for arms like that right about now. Who are you? And why do you think you can just scoop up pups whenever you like? She growls at me, and I feel shock spread through me. Before I can answer, Cedric steps in between us, a furious set to his shoulders. I didn't even see him come in, but I'm thankful that 𝐊𝐸𝐧𝐷 here. Oh, Alpha Vela, how nice to see you, she exclaims, smiling brightly, trying to hide her nervousness. My mate growls in reply and I shake my head. Cedric, calm down. She makes a good point. The lady proceeds to narrow her eyes down at me. You sure are brave, human, to address a superior by his given name. She spits, and Kiefer tries to wiggle free of her grip. My maternal instincts fight to tear him away from the witch. Cedric takes a step closer to her, and I can't see his face. Linda, this is Hendrix. She is my mate and the mother of my pup, and future pups. So I can tell 𝐊𝐤 is speaking through clenched teeth. The woman's thin eyebrows raise in alarm. She looks at me with disbelief and I give her a small salute, feeling a smirk coming on. Maybe I was a little smug. Just a little. Oh my goodness. My apologies, Mrs. Vader. When are you due? As I opened my mouth to answer, Cedric cut me off. We don't know, as there isn't much known about human lichen pregnancies, as I'm sure you are aware. He manages, and by the tightness of his voice I can tell 𝐊𝐤 is refraining from attacking her. How wonderful. I am so happy for the both of you. Somehow I doubt that. I can see the spite bubbling underneath. Linda, what is a human? I hear Kiefer whisper to her, and she sighs, pointing at me with a red fingernail like I'm something odd. That's what Mrs. Vader is. They are very different from us, she explains, and I can tell by the way she says it that she doesn't like our differences. I roll my eyes. So that's why she smells so funny. Kiefer surmises, and I chuckle. Linda looks appalled. She shakes her head dismissively. Don't be rude, she admonishes. Kiefer's face turns pink, and he looks dejected. All I want to do is comfort him, but soon Cedric is pulling me out of my chair and leading me away. We have a place to stay on the other side of the guard headquarters, sort of like a hotel room. I can tell my mate only wants to get me far away from the prejudiced woman, but I can't help but stare after Kiefer as I'm pulled away. I didn't get to say goodbye, but I promise myself that it won't be the last time I see him. I'll make sure of it.